Alright, everybody, welcome to another week of our show completion critiques. For this week, it is, I guess, the battle of Emmett McMillan versus Emmett McMillan. As I'm going to be looking at first the Biome of Isaac, and then in part 2, the end is nigh. I believe everything is up. Hey, Pony. And we are starting off with the Binding of Isaac, a game that anyone who is at least somewhat familiar with our streams and the channel here probably knows that I have played quite a bit. This is, of course, kind of the second, I should say, breakout game from Emmett McMillan, the action roguelike, where balance is thrown out the window for just throwing cool stuff together. And team, you get a Brimstone Epic Fetus Super Meat Boy fan run going. It's also, I think, our first actual roguelike we're looking at for this show. Because when we originally conceived this concept, we were talking about games in terms just of pure length. And a roguelike is a little bit different, as runs are 30 to 40 minutes long. So we're going to see just how well the fan base managed to get through all the craziness of this game. It's also going to be very weird in terms of my ratings that you can see up there, which hopefully if you watch intro, you'll know exactly what they all mean. But I have my drinks ready, and I think we are good to get to these achievements. There's only 637 of them. Well, didn't Killer Instinct have like 600 of them as well? So, the thing about Binding of Isaac is that it is a little weird of some of the games that we've looked at, because a lot of the achievements that are unlocked in the Binding of Isaac are non-linear. Stuff like Monstrous Tooth, Butterbean, Lucky Rock. These are achievements that are based on completing specific challenges or specific requirements, but they may not show up in a run. Somebody may get them all on run 1, somebody else may not. Especially stuff, I know a cube of meat does not exist until you complete or get the Harbingers. And if you're curious or you're asking me what are the prerequisites for these achievements, I have long since forgotten all of that. Because again, there's 657 of them. Now with that said, it's going to be a little weird in terms of the churn rate. I feel like this game is going to have a somewhat high churn. So let's see what we got here. We go from 86 to 77, 77 to 75. Now, this is an important one. We could argue to some extent that the womb is beating. Maybe it does, Mojo. That the womb is beating the Binding of Isaac, because you need to defeat Mom in the first, or you got to get one successful Mom win to unlock the womb. And like we've said, the Binding of Isaac is not a game. Yeah, it's going to break my finger to scroll all the way to the end here. The Binding of Isaac is not a game that you're going to officially beat in an hour. We could argue, see, there's about, I think, what are we up to? Like 18 different endings, 30 to 40 minutes an ending. Maybe we should do the math there. So, let's see, 40 minutes, and this is just on the minimum. Like, we're not even talking about, like, the full thing. So it was at least 720 minutes of play, which is going to be a lot. Yeah, exactly, Pony. It's a game that's all about using the power of vomit and pooping to defeat religious fanaticism. It's the perfect family-friendly game for Nintendo. So what I'm looking for are any other major churn rates, and I have a feeling we're not going to see massive spikes in this game. Because it is one of those titles that you're going to lose people, I think, very immediately just because of the aesthetic. Again, poop, vomit, and other things. Oh, and the game also lets you get the power of cancer to defeat enemies. Again, the perfect game to describe to the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, and that's true, Mojo. And that's, again, the nature of roguelikes and roguelites. That it may take you, 8 to 10 hours, but you're going to be replaying 8 to 10 hours a whole lot. And yes, I did get this achievement. In fact, while I'm looking it up right here, anyone want to take a bet of the 657 achievements, or 637 achievements in the Binding of Isaac? How many do you think I have at this moment? I'm going to say a lot of you are going to either guess way too high or way too low on the stream. I am surprised that over half the player base actually beat the first world hitless. But this is a game that I think once it kind of weeds out the non-fans, a lot of people are kind of going to be in for it. And again, this is what you want to see in terms of achievement rates. 52.9, 52.8, 52.6. If you're only losing like tenths or 0.5% of people per major achievement, you're kind of on track here. But again, keep in mind that the Binding of Isaac is the odd man out, odd boy out of these kinds of games. Because all these achievements were simply Edmund saying, let's take all of our progression points, turn them into achievements. Which, in a weird way, lets us kind of see, how much people have gotten in this game. I'll give you guys like a few more seconds in order to get your bets in. So, if we go back up here, where was it? 71.1% beat the womb, or unlock the womb, I should say. In order to unlock the next major encounter, we're going down, you have to beat It Lives. I'm sorry. Of course, Shark suggested 420. Game Mom's Knife, Little Chad. I know Chad stands for something very demoddy. I just don't know what it is. I've always been afraid to look that up. Bonus chapters. And a lot of the achievements we're at now, these are the ones that are added with the expansion. So, Rebirth, Afterbirth, Afterbirth Plus, Polaroid, the Negative. Lilith was in not the last expansion, but the one before that. Buddy in a Box, I really like that item. Rat Baby, does it show me how many people beat Mega Satan? I'm pretty sure it does. We're still going down. By the way, we're only a quarter of the way down the store page. My finger's gonna break at this rate. Abaddon. Unlock. The gate is open. That should be to fight, oh no. Delirium. My final nemesis I've yet to actually beat the game with. Hey, they call it blunt damage. That's what Project Moon says. Arian, Judas Shadow. This whole stream, or this whole episode, will just be me scrolling down. I'm also going to bet right now that there is not going to be one achievement that is at 0%. Because I'm fairly sure the Binding of Isaac hardcore fans have gotten at least everything. 24.7% beat Delirium. That's not bad. I wonder how many people have beaten the final Satan. There's different Satans in the Binding of Isaac. It's like a Russian nesting doll of Satan. The items, the blue candle, one of the better items in the game. Probably the black candle, a lot of people like more for the curse, or a curse removal. Ah, there's my item right there. Only 19.3% of the player base got to experience, or got the chance to experience Epic Fetus. And of course, every pro player in the game has used a stopwatch at some point. And we've all tried the Suicide King page just to see what it does, and it kills you. Greedier mode. And again, with the Binding of Isaac, I think another thing to point out about this game is that the majority of the content that gets added with each new expansion is supplemental. The actual length of a run of this game hasn't grown that much. With Afterbirth Plus, or the final expansion, we don't know for sure. That's when they've added in the most added content to the length of it. You have the additional chapter, you have the new fight in the actual home, you have yet another Satan to kill, and the game's maybe sort of possibly true ending. We're still going down. We're halfway done this page, by the way. Why did I suggest this game? I think my own masochism is leading these discussions. The hard mode as Lazarus. I think I got this one. The D100. And I think a lot of the most recent expansion stuff is going to be down this level. The Rotten Heart. I got this one. I still haven't gotten all the really good stuff in this game, which is kind of impossible if you're not really lucky. I got Gienna. Definitely got this one. I don't think I've had a Jacob and Isu complete run yet, or I may have, but not 100% with him or them. Hopeful Baby, yeah. All of this is either Afterbirth or Afterbirth Plus. Plan C. You still have a few seconds to get in what you think my achievement rating is for this game. Mega Satan, or the Mega Head. 9. And these achievements, a lot of them are for completing... Oh, some of these are for completing the new cursed options. So you have to replay chapters to unlock the curse mode, and then the curse mode has additional items as well. And again, the Binding of Isaac is a really good example of progression. And there's that damn glare again. What is going on with my window? I wonder if we had a tree cut and it's messing with the lights. Maybe it's Satan trying to get me, right? The real Platinum God. That is to get almost every achievement in this game, and I don't think I've ever gone that far. So if you suggest that I got to the full 637, you are wrong. Still going down and down. Complete the final chapter. Again, these achievements right here, this is Afterbirth Plus. Complete the final chapter with these characters. Reader mode, complete the final chapter. Zuma's Revenge. Oh my goodness, my finger's starting to get tired here. Here we go, I found the new speedrun champion. Uh-oh. Yeah, you're right. I went with the dark photo instead. Here's your new speedrun game. How fast can you scroll down from the top of the Binding of Isaac page to the bottom? And yes, all of these, I believe, are cursed unlocks. Huh. Did I? No, I don't beat everything in... No, definitely not. Beat everything in hard mode as every character. I did not get that one. No, you gotta use the scroll wheel. You gotta do it the pro way. And there we go. I have no idea what Dead God is. Maybe it's beat the final Satan with every character? But now here's the fun part. I need to scroll back up to see where the churn rate is. Here, let's just do it like that. So, if we look at this churn rate, 70 to 67, 71, we could say that it stabilizes at 78%. That is both surprising and kind of impressive for this game. So we know that at least 71% of the people who bought The Binding of Isaac at least had one successful run in it. Which is still really impressive. And again, it is going to break our score completely when we try to figure out what is the clear rate of this game. But again, because these achievements can happen at any time, it's kind of hard to use them for an actual metric. So I think to at least be a little bit more accurate with The Binding of Isaac, we're going to go with the womb. Because the womb is getting a successful run. And I think if you're going to be in for The Binding of Isaac, you're going to at least beat Mom one time. So let's say that the churn rate... Second. So it's stabilized at 71% of the fan base, which means it has a 29% churn. That, again, is really impressive for a game not only as an action roguelike, but as a game with, again, aesthetics that you either tolerate, you really, really love, or you never want to look at after you've seen this game play for about 5 minutes. But now the challenge. And I'm going to throw this to the Binding of Isaac, elite, who I'm sure are watching this record right now. What would you consider to be beating the Binding of Isaac? Like, actually a legitimate, you have won this game. Would you consider it beating It Lives? Would you consider it being Isaac or Question Baby? Satan? Other Satan? Mega Satan? Final Satan? Am I forgetting any Satans in this list? Let's see. Now the big question is, can we find those achievements? You need the Polaroid and the negative to unlock what was considered to be the final chapter of Binding of Isaac for a long time. Yep, there was Hush as well, which I didn't see. I'm sure there are achievements for, but they're not listed. New boss in the womb. Alternate stages. These are unlocked with Rebirth, I believe. Super Meat Boy. Still going down. Abaddon. Down. The Holy Cross. Really great item. That's Delirium, so that would have been Afterbirth, which would have been before that. Where could be the Blue Womb? That is fighting Hush. Unfortunately, he has clever names or everything, so it's kind of hard to take this out. Let's see. Huh? There's one idea. Achievement, what was it? Question baby fight. Defeat mom's heart. No, that's not it. Fighting baby. Here it is. Is a boss in the chest. Oh wait, that's an easy one. Achievement, chess fight. Chess. You must beat Isaac in the cathedral 5 times. Jeez. I did do the chess. There's Question Baby. Oh, I bet the Phantoms had a field day with this game. Yeah, so it's gotta be somewhere around this area. The Necropolis, they unlock that. Speed challenge. Oh, so that's how you unlock the watch. Again, I've played this game so much, I've forgotten, I think, most of the stuff in there. Gish. Piece in the jar. If I see at least one thing that is recognizable, small rock. That's key, Satanic Bible, Isaac's head. I did manage to do that once or twice. Is it the D20? So you want to say that it is the unlocks for beating It Lives. Options, the parasite. Oh, there's Krampus. Now, if we do it like that, it still would be very high up. Curious. I don't think I got that achievement. Mom's Contact, the Lucky Toe. These are additional character unlocks. Oh, and while I'm looking this up, if you want to know what my rating is, it is 440 of 637. The Fias in the jar. Ah, okay, here we go. So the noose would be beating It Lives for one time. Now, if you want to get all the item unlocks, Everything is Terrible unlocks that. It Lives. Is It Lives the final? That means you've played enough times to unlock that encounter. Would a church help you with that one, Pony? Alright. So let's go with It Lives. To unlock It Lives, you need to beat the game originally a total of 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to beat it at least 5 times to unlock It Lives. And I think if you're going to play the Binding of Isaac 5, win, I should say, 5 times, I think we could officially call that beating the game. And in order to unlock Mega Satan, you need to get the keys. You have to blow up the Angel Room statues. And then you have to go into the, what was it, Guiana? Or no, Shoal. Go to Shoal, and then the Dark Room, and then you use the 2-part key. You can also use Dad's key to skip that. So if we go by It Lives, that is at 44.8. So we'll round that up to 45%. I do love that this is like a 30... There's going to be about like a 30-minute video, and about 20 minutes of this was just me scrolling down on this page. So that leaves us with 63% core base. So with the Binding of Isaac, and again, keep in mind, this game was released or re-released in 2014 and has since had all of its expansions. It has retained its fan base as one of the better games we've reviewed on the series. Yeah, so we have the original one. Where are all these lovely expansions? There we go. So, okay. Oh, I messed up. So it goes Afterbirth, Afterbirth Plus, and then Repentance. While Rebirth is just the fancy re-release of it. I wonder how Repentance is doing. 7,000, over 7,400 reviews for a DLC is not that bad. Oh yeah, Afterbirth Plus is mixed. People just need to get good, right? Yeah, Bumbo was just not a fan of that. I don't know where Bumbo kind of falls on the whole Emmett McMillan game-overse, or however we want to call it. Still almost 5,000 positive reviews. Maybe it turned around, I don't know. But yeah, I still need to get Edmund back on for another chat. But yeah, Binding of Isaac, I think, owes its low churn rate and high clear to the fact that it is such a great example of progression being used as motivation. It keeps motivation and investment in this game. It did churn out. I'm surprised we lost 14% before even getting one achievement. I kind of expect that to be slightly higher. And again, getting an achievement in the Binding of Isaac is really... I think you automatically get an achievement just for beating the first boss. One second, let me close my door. There we go. So, we know that 14% of the people who... Well, there are animations of the game out there too. But 14% of the people who bought the Binding of Isaac never finished one run. Or, I'm sorry, not one run. One level. Which a level is maybe a minute and a half to 2 minutes. You know, once you kind of know what you're doing, maybe we could push up to 4 minutes. So a lot of people quit this game within probably less than 15 minutes of playing it. And again, like we say, people will quit games for any reason and almost immediately. I would bet that a lot of people quit this game just by looking at the art of it. They just loaded up, saw all the poop around, and then said no. And again, this is the perfect family-friendly game. I should mention this in all my library talks to kids. I'm sure all the librarians would appreciate this game. Yeah. But I don't think they track this until you at least load up the game once, right? If anyone can confirm that, let me know. But again, I'm not scrolling down again. I already did that once this video. I'm not doing it a second time. Just a really solid example, again, of when you set up effective progression rewards, which in this game is in the form of new items that are then fed into more runs, it greatly extends the replayability. And for this kind of design, it is still, I think, the best example of using items and unlocks as a form of progression. I don't think I've seen another action roguelike, that went this far. Now, again, a lot of this came from 3 expansions worth of content. But the fact that the game not only adds in more stuff, but it changes how you play it, really keeps things going. Ah, yes. And then everything is terrible, that's when you unlock Dark Souls mode. Ipecac, one of the best items. Oh, look, there's experimental treatment. And these are more unlocks. And again, all of those are unlocked just by beating this game again and again and again. The Black Handle, Lure of the Flies. And some of these achievements are so specific in what you need to do to get them that it's not at all surprising that most people didn't get them. I wonder if there's any long-standing, super rare achievements. Again, these are all curses from the final DLC. Everything in hard mode. Complete the corpse, that's a new level. Maybe broken glasses? Everything in hard mode. Nah, that can't be it. There's so many achievements in this game. Yes, it is. The Eternal D6. Locked key. Maybe the real Platinum God, but there's stuff even lower than that. Oh, here it is. You are, what is that, 100? 1,000,000% completed in this game. You don't just get to 100 in the Binding of Isaac, you get to 1,000,000. Hey, Pony. Or, I'm sorry. Hey, Smokeback. I saw Pony's names first. But Binding of Isaac, again, is the reason why I mention it so much in my book, Game Design Deep Dive Roguelikes, is that it's one of the quintessential examples of action roguelikes and the use of persistent elements. And the persistence, again, the Binding of Isaac doesn't just make it harder, but it also adds in new choices. You know, everyone remembers when they picked up, soy milk for the first time. Or the gravitational orb. And look, there's another lovely item in this game that's so family friendly. Five Nights at Mom's. And again, if you were to ask me what any of these items do, I have there's just too many to remember. Godhead, really, really great item. So many of these items vary from being worthless to, weird, to just flat out it breaks the game if you get them. A new starting item. And then the co-op bonus phase. I don't know how many people did co-op in the Binding of Isaac. And for those of you watching this, live or recorded, let me know if you did do a lot of co-op in this game. But I think that is all I really want to say about the Binding of Isaac. Surprisingly, again, really low churn, really high completion. And again, this is, I think, the game you want to take notes of when it comes to persistent elements, unlocks, and the replayability that roguelike elements can add to a title. Speaking of that, we're going to go to a game that is nothing like this. And let's get to The End is Nigh. So this would, I guess, be the second game from Emmett McMillan following the success of The Binding of Isaac. Of course, the third game being, again, The Legend of Bumbo. The End is Nigh is very different in terms of its structure. It may look just like a copy-pasted sequel to Super Meat Boy, but they feature entirely different physics, as well as a different structure. And this game has a special place in my heart because it begins with a character streaming to an audience of 0. And as somebody who has done that quite regularly in their life, it does, hit home for me on that point. Now, The Binding of Isaac had incredibly high churn. And part of that was because most of the achievements didn't really come through until you got to the end of the game. So we're going to see if this rate is any better. And before we do that, I need to check my phone because I'm getting a call. I'll be back in 1 minute. There we go. Yeah, end the call me. I wish. Alright. And we are back. I'll cut that part out during the recording. Yeah, chair. I'll probably get more views with the chair. I should try that for tonight's stream. Just stream this empty room for 2 hours. Maybe I'll get more views. Yeah, that's a good wraparound there, Pony. Streaming to 0 viewers, reviewing 0 streamers. I need to do a sleeping stream, too. But, as I was saying, the end is Nigh is very different from Super Meat Boy. The structure is different, the jumping physics are different. And while Super Meat Boy was just about a level-by-level format, what they did with the end is Nigh is that every single screen is a level, but you explore the game, looking for the various parts, those infamous cartridges, tumors. Again, very family-friendly story. So, let's take a look here. Now, here's the fun part. The end is just the beginning. And then there's also the beginning of the end leading into the end of the beginning. I think he did that just to make this a nightmare. Yep, no wall jumping. So, completing the end is simply just beating level 1. And then these stages are just to get all those lovely tumors, which are then used to unlock even harder stages. So we can say very quickly that 31% of the player base didn't beat the first world of the End is Nigh. And I would hazard a guess that with Super Meat Boy, it may have a similar... If it ever did get a Beat World 1 achievement, it would probably be around that for that game as well. Maybe a little less, just because of how easy that first world is. But as we see here, unlike the Binding of Isaac, the churn is real. We go from 68 to 53 to 45 Then we go to 41. And again, these are collection achievements. These are not actual beating stuff. So we want to be real here. It'll go from 53 all the way down to 29. So between Worlds 2... Oh wait, I'm sorry. 53 to 41 to 29. So from World 2 to World 3, it lost about 12%. And then from World 3 to World 4, it lost, what we say, about 12% more of its player base. 29 to 29. So it's looking like it's stabilizing at 29%. Which I think was actually higher. And let me clear this out. I need to remember to clear this before I move on to the next game. I keep forgetting to do that. So we have 29% churn, or I'm sorry, stabilization is 29. Churn is 71. So that is not good. And again, a lot of what makes the End is Nigh difficult is kind of different from Super Meat Boy. Super Meat Boy is about constant micro adjustments. You have to be constantly tweaking how Meat Boy is moving through the air, holding down run versus not holding it down, and it's very complicated in that respect. The End is Nigh is simpler, but I would say it's a little bit harder. Because everything is built on very fixed jumping angles, it's more about, okay, I need to jump, this way, then I need to jump this way, then we have to go back this way. If I don't do those exactly right, or if I'm off, I lose. There's no adjustment in the air in the End is Nigh in a lot of these cases. Yeah. Super Meat Boy is precise, but you have wiggle room. And that's because of how the game is tracking the physics in real time. So that if you do make a jump a little too high, you can try and adjust them in the air. Or if you're coming in too fast, you can try and hold back and, get those lucky saves. End is Nigh, it's just basically all committed based jumping. And you mess up, or you do it in the wrong way, you're going to lose again. Oh, especially when you get to the final chapter. So, speaking of the final chapter, this game I think is going to have a very, very low clear rate. So, complete Golgotha, Retrograde, Exodus, and then we get to the future. The future is essentially, one loop in the End is Nigh. Once you be in the future, then you get to the real masochism. And this is where the game gets very painful. Because in the future, you don't have unlimited lives. It essentially turns into 1001 spikes. Which maybe that's another thing we should look at some point. And there's one thing I think people hate, is when you tell them, if you die too many times, you have to restart the whole thing. Even if the game gives you, I think I had like 435 lives in this game. It still was almost barely not enough for me to beat the future. So, these achievements right here, these are for clearing the future versions of the levels. So we go 16 to 14. And again, you can see that the clear rates aren't going down that far, because if you're masochistic enough to beat the future or beat the past all the way, then you're probably going to be masochistic enough to keep playing this game to complete these challenges. So we go to Blight, we go to Ruin. Oh god, I can tell you right now, I did not beat the Tower of Ascension. Acceptance. And acceptance is it. If you can, acceptance is beating the future. And I did manage to do that. I am in the 11.4 percentile of beating the end is nigh. But there's even more beyond that. Keep going down. At least I'm not breaking my fingers too much here. There's bonus challenges, the bonus cartridges, Rubble Bobble. And yeah, I will never do the cartridges, deathless and continuous. Yes, screw the cartridges indeed. Tower of Ascension. So this is the ultimate super, you are, uber masochistic achievement. Beat the whole game and beat every cart. 1.2%. I'm surprised more people did this than they did the speedrun achievement. And this one, good on you. If you manage to beat the entire game with less than 200 deaths. And for the people who aren't accustomed to this game or don't know it, 200 deaths is like, 15 minutes you could probably die 200 times in this game? It's just like the Binding of Isaac. Start a level, die, go forward, die, jump, die. If you had a drinking game, no one would survive. The end is nigh of death. And I guess this has to be full 100%. Get everything, beat all the cards, beat the entire game. And how the hell did 0.6% of the people manage to do that? I have no idea. What is Iron God in the end is nigh? I'm afraid. Oh, not the end is night. Only one person has it? Oh, God. Here it is. Let's see what people say. Oh my god. Deathless run in the end is nigh. My god. Oh. Yeah. Let me just say this right now. There is no Patreon incentive or donation incentive that would ever get me to do this one on stream. Oh my god. My mind is reeling at the thought of trying to do that. I don't know. I think 0.4% may be too high for this. I wonder if a few people cheated to get that achievement. If anyone who managed to get this achievement is watching this video, leave a comment, because I would like to give you a round of applause. So if we go by the true... So the question is, do we go for acceptance? Or do we go for the future? It's kind of tough in this aspect. If Shark tries it with me, we'll do a duel stream. No, we'll do a race stream. See who can do it first. It'll be the first dual unending stream. So, you know what? Let's go with the future. Let's say clear rate of this game is the future. I know the ending, or the actual credits, is acceptance. But that I think takes us into kind of completionist territory. Yeah. So we'll say that the clear rate is 21%. Which, to be fair, gives us a very high core base. And this is, again, what we normally see from challenging games. Huge churn rates, but a high number of people who make it past that will clear it. That gives us 72%. So what this tells us, again, is that when it comes to brutally difficult games like the Nigh, maybe I will replay this. I do have a game for tonight besides Library of Ruina. So it's not just going to be all me dying in that game for like 3 hours. But when it comes to games like this, you are going to have high churn. There is always going to be churn that goes this high when we have difficult games. And the Nigh is not a hard game to learn. You know, onboarding is very simple. You run, you jump, and then you die. Run, jump, die. That's the entire loop of the Nigh. It's actually in the trailer for this game. So you're going to be failing a lot in it. But I would argue that, again, that if not Binding of Isaac, if Super Meat Boy had level or world-based achievements, it probably would have something similar in terms of this churn rate. That if we go over here, that we lose 21% almost within the first 10 minutes. And then we start losing more and more and more. But then once we get past that point, people are like, okay, I've seen this game, I know how it works, I'm in. And again, the thing about the Binding of Isaac from our previous episode, which for those of you watching this record, go watch that, there's your shameless plug, that there's nothing that is really motivation or progression based in the Nigh to act as a buffer. You're either going to become a platforming god playing this game, or you're going to quit. There's no bonuses, there's definitely no assist mode in this game. There's just more masochism. And we can see that again, I'm curious. So that if 20.5% beat the game or beat the first loop, it only lost about 4% starting into the loop itself. Yeah, exactly. Again, there is a drinking game for the Nigh, just as there's in Super Meat Boy, but no one would survive it. And again, this is the perfect family-friendly game. We could do a apple juice, drinking game, as we talk all about picking up tumors and the apocalypse and death. Ruin. Oh, and don't forget that with acceptance, when you beat, or the final section of acceptance, is a timed escape. And I said just as Pony's comment came up as well. Oh, God. And if you die, you then have to repeat the level. Oh, yes. And I will say that Emmett McMillan is one of those developers who's really good at getting a lot of value out of his assets. Because you just repeat the basic level design, you just make it harder, and it's a whole new world. Is Catastrophavania like the super hard level or the super hard car? Or is that just one of them? Did I beat Denial? I'm sure there was a level called Masochism. I beat that. Let me see. I have 31 of the achievements in the end is nigh. I did beat some of these cartridges. Oh, I collected the Tower of Ascension, but I know I didn't beat it. No, I did not get Denial. Wait a minute. Aren't Denial, Anger, Bargaining, and Depression the bonus tumor challenges? Because I swear that I beat those. Oh, God. Don't forget the bounce physics. When you have to perfectly bounce over those things, and if you're off by just a hair, you're going to bounce off in the wrong angle and die. And the water, and the piranhas, and the missiles, and that one section with the giant tumor mines that kind of like grow and they chase after you. There's just so much lovingness in The End is Nigh. It is a happy game. And if you can beat that, you can say that you rock in terms of, you have the acid. And here's the fun part, for everyone watching this, right, who's played The End is Nigh, we are giving them like stress headaches and, raising their blood pressure by asking them to remember this. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I beat Denial. Or maybe I'm denying that I beat Denial. And again, I will never get these deathless ones. Maybe continueless, I don't know. The bare minimum. Jeez. Oh, you got 100% of nothing. But I think we'll begin to wrap things up because we are just about at an hour. Well, give or take when I had to run and answer the phone. Yeah, but now I do feel like playing The End is Nigh. I feel like I need to re-challenge myself with this game. And then Pony can live and die vicariously through me. As I do it all over again. And maybe I'll have one person watching me. I'll be a little bit better than Ash. But when we look at pain points in games like this, really just the start of these games is the major pain point. Now, what also makes this a problem, this is something I think we need to discuss, is that we could argue, and I think we could certainly make a case, that having limited lives and even the timer for the final section and acceptance are very annoying and they're very painful. They would be considered massive pain points. But the problem is that it would be hard to prove that considering just how little churn there is in this final set of levels. Again, we go from 12.4% to 11.4%. So people would argue with that. There's no problems, it was perfectly fair. But as we've said before, when it comes to UX, the majority of the people who are going to be churned are going to happen within the first 30 minutes of this game, which makes it a lot harder to spot future pain points if you're only talking to your hardcore fans. And I would say that if we wanted to do like a very important study in terms of the UX of The End is Nigh, I would like to know, for those of you who quit the game between between the end and the arid flats, from the arid flats to overflow, and then from overflow to the hollows, why did you quit playing The End is Nigh at those points? Because these are the major dips, as we can see. So, while 21% of the player base wasn't interested in The End is Nigh at all, there were still elements that stopped those those people who did learn this game from continuing to play it, as we can see right here. But once you get past the hollows, it becomes stable. So the people who made it to the hollows were just basically like, I'm amazing at this game, I'm not going to stop playing it. And we can see again that hardcore mindset kind of pushing through to beating these final challenges. And as another question, for those of you who did beat The End is Nigh, what are your thoughts on the live system for the second loop? Are you for that kind of design, and are you against it? And as a second, or as a backup question, what did you think of 1001 Spikes? Which that one just literally tells you have 1001 lives. But I still don't like having that, counter over my head letting me know that if you die this many times, the entire game is over. And again, to the people who beat this all the way through, good job on you. Acceptance. And to whoever did get Iron God, how much hair did you rip out to do that achievement? Yeah. And again, it's the perception of the punishment, not so much the punishment itself, that can ruin people's thoughts and their impressions on these games. Like with Dark Souls and Sekiro, that the Dark Souls punishment, it's not horrible in terms of, it's just beating you when you're down. But the thought of losing progress, of, going from here to here, and hopefully I did that right in terms of the reflection of my window here, yeah. From there to there, that can feel like just being stabbed in the back in terms of your thought process. And it's why for a lot of these games that they don't want you to linger on the punishment. Again, with Super Meat Boy and with The End is Nigh, death is basically this. Die, restart, die, restart, die, restart. And like we said, you can lose like 40 lives in like 10 seconds of playing this game. But I think with that, let's wrap things up this week for our live version of the show. And again, if you want to watch these shows live, I do them around 4 p.m. ET on Tuesdays. And then I turn them into the little mini episodes that I'm hoping a few of you are watching right now. If you are new, check out our Discord and Patreon. If you'd like to vote for future live episodes, all Patreon supporters get to cast their votes for which games I cover next. And if you suggest a game for me to cover for a future show, please let me know in the comments. Come back for daily discussions on game design here and on Game Wisdom, where is in the art and science of games. And until next time, take care.